The glass doors of Hale Innovations slid open with a soft hiss. Morning light spilled across the marble floor as employees rushed past, sharp suits, designer shoes, lattes in hand, eyes glued to phones. Nobody noticed the man who stepped inside. Not at first. He wasn't dressed like them. A simple navy polo, khaki trousers, and a leather briefcase that had seen better years. His hair was flecked with grey, his expression calm, and his eyes sharp, with the depth of a man who had lived more life than most people in that lobby combined. To him, this building wasn't just steel and glass. It was his legacy. But the first thing he heard wasn't a greeting. It was a bark. "Sir, you can't be here. This is a private company." The security guard stepped forward, hand already brushing his radio. A receptionist frowned, whispering to her coworker. Phones came out. A few smirks. A few chuckles. The man smiled faintly, opened his briefcase, and pulled out a worn plastic card. "I built this place." His voice was quiet, steady. The receptionist laughed under her breath. "Built this place? Sir, please leave before we call management." And just like that, the air in the lobby shifted. Here was the man who had poured billions into this company, dismissed as if he were an intruder. How do you throw out the owner of the very empire you stand in? And what happens when you realize too late who he truly is? Act I, the forgotten founder. His name was Jonathan Hale. Years ago, headlines called him the black billionaire who built the future. From a cramped apartment with nothing but a second-hand laptop, Jonathan founded Hale Innovations, a company that changed how the world handled data and pioneered AI at a global scale. But Jonathan wasn't like other tech titans. No yachts, no red carpets, no photo shoots. He stayed humble. A polo shirt instead of Armani, a suburban home instead of penthouses, a beat-up briefcase instead of Rolexes. He still owned 60% of the company, but he handed daily operations to a polished board of directors and disappeared from the spotlight. To the new employees rushing through those glass doors every day, he was invisible, forgotten, until today. Act 2, the warning. Jonathan wasn't here for nostalgia. He wasn't here for applause. He had received a tip, a quiet message that the board, they, very people running his company, were planning to sell one of Hale's most valuable subsidiaries to a foreign investment group. If the deal went through, billions would change hands. But worse, it would strip the company of its soul. The very technology Hale Innovations was built on would no longer belong to them. So Jonathan came back. No cameras. No announcement. Just a man, returning to the empire he built. And in just minutes, he saw the rot with his own eyes. The smirks. The condescension. The dismissive arrogance of people who thought he didn't bellon. The guard squinted at Jonathan's access card. "Looks fake," he scoffed. Employees laughed, recording the scene as if it were entertainment. Then came the head of security, broad, towering, relishing his authority. "We don't allow trespassers here," he said. Two guards stepped forward, ready to drag Jonathan out. The billionaire founder of Hale Innovations, about to be thrown onto the street of his own building. But Jonathan didn't resist. He just stared, calm, silent, and that silence unsettled everyone. While Jonathan was humiliated downstairs, the real betrayal was happening upstairs. The boardroom. Executives in tailored suits smiled confidently as contracts were slid across polished wood. Signatures were minutes away from selling off the company's crown jewels. They believed Jonathan was still hiding, detached, irrelevant. They were wrong. Back in the lobby, tension reached its breaking point. A young manager sneered at Jonathan. "You think you can just walk in here like you own the place?" The irony was lost on him, but not on the crowd. Phones recorded. Social media buzzed. Who was this man? Jonathan finally reached into his pocket, dialed a number, and said 2 words. "It's time." The glass doors opened again. This time, a team walked in. Lawyers, advisors, aides. They handed the head of security thick binders stamped with the Hale Innovations crest, ownership documents, proof of Jonathan's 60% control, federal injunctions halting any sale. The lobby froze. Whispers turned to gasps. The trespasser was no trespasser at all. He was the founder, the man who owned the very ground they stood. Jonathan didn't waste a second. With his entourage, he walked straight to the top floor. The boardroom doors opened, and silence swallowed the room. The acting CEO froze, pen hovering above a dotted line. Jonathan set his briefcase on the table. "Did you think I wouldn't find out?" One by one, he laid out the evidence. Hidden emails, kickback agreements, the truth of their betrayal. "Growth built on betrayal," Jonathan said, "is collapse in disguise. You don't sell the soul of Hale Innovations for your own pockets." The injunction landed on the table. The deal was dead. The same security guards who once prepared to escort Jonathan out now stood ready to remove the executives themselves. When Jonathan walked back through the lobby, the same employees who mocked him stood silent, some ashamed, some clapping softly. He paused only once, turning to the guard who had tried to throw him out. "Respect is free. It costs nothing to give, but it shows everything about who you are." His words hung heavy. Not a lecture, a reminder. Outside, the sun set over glass towers. Reporters gathered. The story spread across the world. The billionaire founder who walked into his own company and was told to leave, only to reclaim it in front of everyone. And the lesson. True power isn't about money. It isn't about titles. It's about integrity, conviction, and the courage to stand firm, even when the world forgets who you are.